In the previous part, Kafka had accidentally become a monster after being invaded by a flying kaiju. Although Kafka tried to hide his power, he had to transform in front of everyone to protect his teammates. However, instead of being eliminated, Kafka was kept by the government with the hope of using him as a military weapon against other kaiju threats. Now, a new danger is increasing. Kaiju number 9, a powerful and ever-strengthening enemy, has attacked the Defense Forces headquarters with the aim of seizing Kaiju number 2's power from Commander-in-Chief Isao. Upon hearing this, the entire force quickly concentrated in the center to protect the Commander-in-Chief. Isao ordered Itami and Nogizaka to evacuate, as he knew that the upcoming confrontation would be extremely fierce. Tension and worry were evident on Kafka's face as he prepared to face this new danger. Could Kafka and the Defense Force stop Kaiju number 9 and protect Commander Isao? The answer will be revealed in the upcoming developments of Kaiju number 8. Both Nogizaka and Itami refused to leave the battlefield, but when they realized the tremendous power of number 9, they had to follow the commander's orders to preserve their forces, and also not to hinder him. Assistant Kurusu defied orders to stay and support His Excellency in unleashing the full power of his armor made from Kaiju number 2's corpse. When the energy was fully released, he had reached a level of power comparable to a monster. This power was so tremendous that even a single punch caused the ground to shake and fierce winds to blow. But number 9 was too strong, easily blocking that punch and pushing him back. It happily said, "Yes, this level of power is worthy of being seized." Isao took a firm stance, landing a powerful hook punch. Next, he unleashed a move that shattered the monster's head. Like a M, number 9 continued to scream in ecstasy. "Wonderful, show me more." Isao continued attacking him, but this only caused him to lose strength. It counterattacked his chest area, weakening his body more and more. Assistant Kurusu was trying to support and adjust the armor into defense mode to recover from the blows to the chest area. But if he focused only on defending the armor, there would only be one outcome: death. He decided to focus all his power, switching to maximum attack mode. This move could permanently prevent him from fighting again. Although Kurusu tried to stop him, he wasn't too worried, as the next generation was excellent. All he needed to do now was bet his life to defeat Kaiju number 9. An extremely high energy was flowing through his body, and this final punch was the card he was betting on. Everyone from afar noticed the ferocity of the attack, worried that his body wouldn't be able to withstand it. At this point, the monster's core was exposed and about to explode. Realizing things were going badly, it quickly shifted its entire body into defense mode. Isao didn't let it achieve its goal, unleashing a second surprise attack. Another loud explosion rang out, accompanied by a strong wind. Kurusu was blown far away but quickly stood up to search for His Excellency Isao's figure. He was relieved that the monster's body had disintegrated, but suddenly his face darkened as its core was still well protected. "Here," Isao whispered. "Just one more blow." But then he was out of strength, unable to unleash any more attacks. His entire body was gradually being taken over by the monster. At this moment, Narumi, Kikaru, and Kafka arrived at the battlefield. Seeing the devastation, the monster gone and only the commander standing there, Narumi was overjoyed that His Excellency was still alive, but then they realized the figure standing there was not Isao, it was Kaiju number 9 in his body. Narumi screamed out trying to find him, "Your Excellency Isao?" But the commander was dead, and the monster before them had merged with him. Kikaru couldn't believe this. Her mother had died fighting Kaiju number 6, and now her beloved father had merged with Kaiju number 9. How could she accept this truth? She charged to attack the monster, but it was all in vain. Narumi rushed in to protect her, trying to use Kaiju number 1's retinal powers to destroy it as he had done with the clone of Kaiju no 9. But now it was too strong and easily resisted that attack. Kafka also began to join the battle, but the monster suddenly wanted to stop fighting due to Isao's resistance within his body. Although hindered, number 9 created a horrific explosion and left, not forgetting to leave a promise. Next time will be the beginning of the Kaiju era. 2 days later, a farewell ceremony for His Excellency Isao was simultaneously held by all units. Everyone expressed their grief and respect for His Excellency. At the ceremony, Kikoru did not appear. She hid in a corner, crying for her father and hiding her own weakness. Narumi appeared and promised that, before meeting him again, he would train her to become the strongest after him. This loss was a great motivation for everyone to become stronger. They would turn their hatred into motivation to send Number 9 back to the other world. As for Kafka, after checking, they found that if he continued transforming, there would come a time when he would no longer be able to return to human form. Part of Kafka's hand had permanently turned into a kaiju after the recent battle. At the Tachikawa branch of Team 3, the imprisoned kaiju number 10 had awakened, but it didn't want to talk to anyone except Hoshina. It provided them with valuable information that Number 9 was also the one who created it. However, what it wanted was to become Hoshina's weapon. The recent battle with him had extremely excited it, and whether the opponent was human or monster, it didn't care because it just needed to fight. Thinking about the monster's offer, Deputy Chief Hoshina accepted this request. Mina immediately contacted the center to transform Number 10 into a weapon. Could this monster have ulterior motives? But no matter what, Hoshina was determined to control and possess it. A strategy meeting gathering all the leaders of the defense force was held. The vice commander cut straight to the point with the information gathered from Team 3. Kaiju number 9 was the one who created Number 10, and this was just a trial version. In the future, Number 9 will create more perfect versions. If they don't work together on a long-term plan, this nation will soon perish. It even concerns the safety of all humanity. In recent years, the average recovery rate of the kaiju has increased from 2.6 to 4.8. According to recent research, the huge amount of energy released from the collision of tectonic plates could affect living organisms. And Kaiju number 9 may have exploited this phenomenon to create other kaiju. They believe this area could be the intersection between the Philippines and Eurasia. This area is too large to search immediately, so they cannot pinpoint the location right away. What they need to do now is train the newcomers, and most importantly, train the person compatible with Kaiju number 6. It is the most dangerous monster they have ever defeated. But until now, no one compatible with this weapon has been found. Information about the compatible person has been announced to the entire team. He is Lino. This made Team 4 leader Yugo very worried, because it is unfair to place such a huge responsibility on an 18-year-old boy's shoulders, and most Kaiju number users had to die before they could retire. He advised Leno to refuse this choice. However, the young man with determined eyes replied, "Let's get started, sir." On the very first use, the pressure from Kaiju number 6 made Leno pass out. It wasn't until he heard Iharu's call that he woke up and found himself lying in the infirmary. The first fusion had failed. The Team 4 leader continued trying to persuade the young man to give up, but with that same determined look, Leno still said, "I will do it." Realizing it would be difficult to dissuade Leno from the difficult path he had chosen, Ogata gave Leno a month of training to be able to use number 6 on the battlefield, but Leno was much stronger than Ogata had imagined. In that month, the young man met Ogata's conditions. The target Leno defeated this time was a rat-like kaiju with a 6.4 level of fortitude. He only had 10 minutes to defeat it in this trial run. After the support team fully released the energy, his armor was pushed up to 43%, a very impressive number. This number kept increasing without stopping, but instead of rejoicing, Ogata was worried because at some point Leno would lose control. As predicted, Leno's body began to overload, cracking in 16 places and breaking 4 bones. Ogata was about to decide to end this experiment when Iharu rushed forward and screamed out, "Please wait a bit longer, sir." He then dashed forward quickly. Iharu was a newcomer in the same batch as Leno. He always tried but could never catch up to Leno. Although very jealous of Leno, he always believed Leno could do it. Iharu approached the sitting and exhausted Leno and shouted, "You can do it." The power of friendship erupted. Leno regained consciousness and realized Iharu was carrying him on his back. Iharu decided to get close and block the monster to give Leno a clear shot. Initially, Iharu's suit release ability was only at an average of 22%, but whenever he focused it would skyrocket to 42%. From afar, Team 4 leader was certain that if Iharu learned to control that power, he could be on par with Leno. Iharu closed in on the monster and landed a direct blow to its core area. The shell was shattered, exposing the core. At this point, from a distance, Leno delivered an extremely powerful blow that obliterated the monster's core. The duo successfully defeated the original monster. Leno officially became the wielder of No. 6. The news of the Yung Leno being the first person in history compatible with number 6 quickly spread throughout the young defense force, making them even more motivated to become stronger. As for Kafka, he met with Vice Captain Hoshina right at headquarters. They had a chance to talk about each other's current situation. Hoshina sincerely advised Kafka to never transform again. "Let me handle number 9. However, Kafka could not do that. He was sure that in order to protect his loved ones, he would continue to fight and transform. Hoshina smiled and told Kafka to follow him. The two also went to the Ryunai Shrine, where the souls of warriors killed by monsters since the Edo period were enshrined. Here, without kaiju suits or transformations, the two men simply engaged in hand-to-hand combat. Kafka took a stance, unleashing a flurry of punches and kicks, while Hoshina calmly and easily evaded the attacks. He then began launching decisive strikes at Kafka with extreme speed. Kafka couldn't block them. He realized this was the same attacking technique as Commander Isao. This technique applied to unarmed combat would be what would allow Kafka to survive the upcoming life-and-death battle. As they were about to leave the shrine, Kafka saw a warrior holding a spear standing by the shrine gate. The darkness and blurry scenery made him think he was just seeing things. After that special training day, Kafka began practicing lowering his stance, channeling his attack power into his fists. Due to old age, the uncle would sometimes get muscle cramps. But Kafka dared not slack off because every 2 weeks Hoshina would visit and check on him once. 2 months had passed since he was brought to headquarters. Kafka's phone was confiscated, and he never dared to call his former teammates. He has no face-to-face with his former teammates and fears being seen as a monster by them. But when the phone was returned, 503 messages were received. Everyone on the team hoped he would return soon. The burdens in his heart for so long had been lifted. The uncle cried like a child, startling Kikaru, who witnessed it. As for Kaiju No. 9, Isao within its body was still resisting. But by this point, he had reached his limit. This was when the Kaiju No. 9 could run rampant without being controlled. Strange phenomena began appearing in cities everywhere. On a mountain in Numata City, a huge white kaiju was hunting bears. A floating rock appeared on the railroad tracks with a strange smile. In Shibuya, Tokyo, a monster resembling a human suddenly appeared, and then disappeared. In Chigasaki City, a series of fish rained down from the sky, and a monster was sucking up all the fish into its mouth before diving away. At the Kamikawachi Resort, a monster was running as fast as if racing cars. After running 12 kilometers, it also disappeared. Rows of oil storage tanks were continuously being drained, and all were found to have a hole of about 15 cm on the surface. Mountains also appeared with punctured areas like from massive impacts. For the first time in history, kaiju appeared and disappeared in a strange manner. And they were even smarter than ordinary monsters. This event was a harbinger of a great calamity for humanity. The Japanese government planned to stockpile electricity, evacuate cities, build underground shelters. They even contacted other countries for support forces. Kikaru, after months of rigorous training, finally got to see Kaiju Armor No. 4, the same one her mother used to fight with. Strangely, in the following days, Japan became eerily peaceful. No kaiju appeared, but everyone understood this was just the calm before the storm. In Kabukicho, Shinjuku, a beautiful girl resembling Kikaru appeared. The only difference was her black hair. She seemed to be waiting for someone, constantly checking her phone. Seeing the pretty girl, 2 young men approached and invited her to eat. If she wanted, she could also call more friends. The girl gently replied, "Yes, I just called them." Her eyes turned black, along with the disappearance of everyone standing nearby. An invasion of monsters had officially begun. Simultaneous monster attacks were occurring over a wide area. The kaiju alarm rang loudly at headquarters. All major cities, power plants, broadcasting towers, government facilities, and major transportation hubs were under attack by the monsters. They had too many places to protect. The eastern area would be defended by 4 teams. Narumi's Team 1 with the power of Kaiju No. 1, Team 2 formerly led by Kikaru's mother when she was alive, Mina's Team 3 of Sharpshooter Masters, and Hoshina with the power of Kaiju No. 10, and Mr. Ogata's Team 4, an expert on kaiju weapons. The defense force split into 3 areas to sweep the monsters clean. Team 1 was present in the area near the National Diet Building. The number of monsters overwhelmingly outnumbered the defense force, but these were no match for Narumi. With just 1 slash, he eliminated dozens of kaiju. After equipping Kaiju Armor No. 4, Kikaru was also immediately deployed to Narumi's position. The Kaiju No. 4 weapon was the fastest and the only one capable of flight. Upon joining the battle, Kikaru took down 3 monsters. The situation at the National Diet Building was under satisfactory control. At Chofu Airport, Hoshina decided to test his new weapon, No. 10, the first weapon equipped with self-awareness. Although fully aware of the incalculable risk of deploying it on the battlefield, in the current situation, Hoshina had to accept the daring opportunity. Before deploying, he whispered to the suit, "Obey me. If I die, you'll be thrown in the trash." "Understood," No. 10 replied, then used its tail to punch a large hole in the plane's fuselage, causing both of them to free fall to the ground. Dozens of menacing kaiju faced Hoshina, but they were within his calculations. When he attacked as usual, the suit suddenly became difficult to control, veering left when he wanted to turn right, standing still when he wanted to jump. Hoshina ended up taking hits amid the surrounding monsters. At headquarters, support staff panicked when they saw Hoshina's energy release level drop to an unprecedentedly low level. They urged him to retreat and switch to a regular suit, but the kaiju were too numerous and fast for him to find an escape route. Hoshina ordered No. 10 to take cover behind the plane and attack, but it stubbornly refused and demanded a frontal assault. Realizing he could not die here, Hoshina decided to concede and execute the attack plan according to the suit's wishes. He charged forward like a ravenous beast, destroying everything. While Hoshina attacked the monsters in front, No. 10 controlled the tail to protect him, helping him clean up the monsters neatly. This was also the first time both of them achieved their goals. Deputy Commander Hoshina of Unit 3 had successfully eliminated all the kaiju at Chofu Airport. After clearing 2 areas, only the Oizumi traffic hub under the control of Shinonomi's platoon and Tachibana's platoon remained. This hub was being jammed, slowing down the evacuation process, and 6 extremely large monsters were causing them difficulties. Kafka asked to join the battle, but was denied. He was the trump card to fight No. 9. If Kafka transformed now, No. 9 might soon find him. The giant monsters began to change their body structures. Their internal temperatures began to rise. A shot from the monster's mouth also caused a tremendous explosion. Unable to approach them by any means, the whole team began to feel uneasy until they heard Mina's voice transmit, "Let me." The monster suddenly exploded. Mina had fired a shot from as far as Tachikawa, a shot over 20 kilometers away. With the newly designed long-range artillery for Mina, she could take out enemies from an unimaginable distance. This was Mina's new power. In an instant, all 6 monsters had been taken down by Mina. All forces joined in to seal off the area. Everything was easily controlled. But the monsters didn't seem interested in this attack. It was clear they were aiming for something else. In the distance, Kaiju No. 9 was getting impatient for Kaiju No. 8. The enemy he was waiting for did not appear. In Narumi and Kikoru's area, water suddenly gushed up from the ground. Along with that, an extremely powerful monster with a 9.0 level of fortitude appeared. It was No. 11. Then a series of other numbered high-level monsters appeared. 12, 13, 14, and 15. The entire force had to fight 5 top-level monsters. The monsters had planned to eliminate all the high-ranking soldiers of the defense force. Without enough manpower, the commanders would have to face them directly. Narumi faced No. 11, Hoshina faced No. 12, Shinonome and Tachibana faced No. 13, Mina faced No. 14. Kikoru's opponent was the monster No. 15, which looked exactly like her. It blew a wind from its mouth that created a vortex, killing 6 nearby soldiers. Kikoru immediately unleashed her armor to 84%. The two charged at each other at a terrifying speed. Kikoru's No. 4 armor was the fastest, but it was no match for No. 15. If she lost focus for a moment, Kikoru could die instantly. Her combat stats were very stable, making the command center think she might be even more talented than Isao, Hikari, or even Narumi. She was the trump card of the defense force, but she alone was not enough. Kikoru took a kick from the monster and was thrown into a nearby high-rise building. Her armor's shield was pierced. Her ribs and lungs were severely damaged. 15 used its hand to gather earth, rocks, iron, and steel to form a solid weapon mass. It threw it at Kikoru. She managed to dodge, but No. 15 closed in. As if taking a stroll, it cupped Kikoru's face and said, "Not so easy to eat, Kikoru." She took the opportunity to fire a shot through its face. But another attack from number 15 was launched, injuring her left leg. Next was her right leg, and her left hip showed signs of damage. The command center was trying to treat her injuries through the armor, but number 15's attacks continued relentlessly. They feared Kikaru might not be able to withstand it. She was the future of the country. Command ordered to lower the defense level at headquarters to support Kikaru, but she did not accept. Because if so, number 9 would take the opportunity to attack headquarters. Kikaru said, "I'm sure I'll take it down. I'm about to do it." On the command center's screen, the energy release level of her armor had reached 88%. This meant she was about to catch up with number 15's speed. Ever since wearing the number 4 armor, Kikoru had always seen her mother and part of her memories. Now she would show number 15 what true speed was. She charged at the monster, slashing it and leaving a small cut on its face. 15 underestimated this lucky slash, but it didn't expect that after that attack, Kikoru's speed had changed. She relentlessly overwhelmed it, and the energy release level reached 93%. This was the realm her mother had achieved. The number continued to increase to 94%. Kikoru slashed off number 15's head to expose its core inside. Just as Kikoru was about to deliver the final blow, she saw that severed head smiling. A series of web-like threads appeared. The surroundings around Kikoru darkened. Her mental state was disturbed, her energy release began to drop, and the command center could not connect with her. This was a mental attack. Kikoru began to hold her head in pain. In her mind, number 15 kept asking, "Why did you try so hard?" Kikoru thought for a while and shed tears. "Because I wanted to hear my parents say I did very well." The monster whispered in her ear, "You don't need to try anymore. Because no matter how hard you try, they're not here to praise you anymore." Kikoru was completely unable to resist this mental attack. It was as if the monster had prepared it especially for her. As for Narumi, his eyes were almost useless against number 11. His eyes could read every movement through the electromagnetic signals flowing in his opponent's body. But this monster was water. It challenged, "Try reading water." On Hoshina's side, the number 12 monster he faced was a close combat specialist. Its 2 arms were like sharp swords. It was a master swordsman with absolute concentration. As for platoon commander Shinonome and Tachibana, facing number 13 was even worse. When the entire team had lost their fighting ability, only Shinonome remained conscious. Clearly, this was the first time in history that the monsters had outmaneuvered the defense force and attacked their weaknesses. Shinonome was motionless and desperate in the face of number 13's tremendous power. However, when she heard the critical report from platoon commander Tachibana, she charged in to support, but was thrown far away and suffered severe injuries. Although she knew the chance of victory was extremely low, Shinonome staked her life on this attack. She threw grenades and fired a barrage of powerful shots at the monster. Thinking she could momentarily hold it back, number 13 instead appeared behind Shinonome's back and struck her down. Failure meant death, but in that last moment she really didn't want to die. And then Kafka could no longer stand by. He defied orders and transformed into a kaiju to save her. He lowered his center of gravity and threw a powerful punch he had practiced for months, sending number 13 flying away. It couldn't defeat number 8 alone and had to call the other kaiju for help. Number 15 heard the signal it would kill Kikoru to go support that one. But the determination in Kikoru's eyes remained steadfast. In Kikoru's mind, she still had to move forward, for there were her teammates and innocent civilians she needed to protect. This mental attack from number 15 had inadvertently helped Kikoru break free from her sorrows and become even stronger. Kikoru used her axe to slice off number 15's head and completely destroy it. Before dying, number 15 cried, like a human's emotions. It lamented that number 9, whom it called father, only saw it as a pawn. No matter what it did, number 9 never loved it. After defeating number 15, Kikoru immediately contacted Narumi and suggested that he show his full strength. If the student could win, the master couldn't lose. Narumi began to accelerate, dodging water attacks and gradually closing in on number 11. He unleashed close combat fighting skills rated as good as Hoshina's. However, the monster seemed to have predicted this, using water to protect its body. Narumi launched more close combat techniques, but they were all blocked. 11 was confident it had Narumi pinned down, as it possessed part of Isao's memories. It threw a punch exactly like Isao at Narumi's body, sending him flying and severely injuring him. The support team had to reduce the armor's energy by 2% to stop the bleeding. 11 approached, thinking it had surely won. But Narumi surprised it by slicing off its arm and awakening his eyes. Narumi's eye color changed, something number 11 didn't know about. Narumi then deflected the water spheres and slashed the monster's abdomen. The monster counterattacked, but Narumi had predicted all of number 11's subsequent attacks, leaving it extremely confused. Clearly, in the memories they took from Isao, Narumi could only read electrical signals. But over many years of combat, Narumi had pushed his eye power to the extreme. He could see the movement of electrons, or simply put, Narumi had the ability to see a moment into the future. This was an ability that Kaiju number 1 could not use while still a monster. But Narumi had awakened this ability. The monster began to panic and continued launching water attacks at Narumi. But now it was no longer a worthy opponent for him. Narumi used the military axe technique on Kaiju number 11's core, sending the monster to the other world. Meanwhile, at Chofu Airport, Deputy Commander Hoshina was being overwhelmed by the power of number 12. It was the perfected version of number 10 in both physical strength and combat ability. Number 12 showed no fear in close quarters combat with Hoshina. Hoshina and the imperfect number 10 tried together to take down number 12. He would not use the usual dual sword fighting style, but fight with a single sword. Surely these were things number 12 did not have in its memories. Hoshina and the number 10 armor combined seamlessly, charging in and stabbing through parts of number 12's body, but still could not find its core. What they did was slice until they found the core. Not giving up, Hoshina continued charging in like a true warrior. Outside, everyone anxiously awaited his victory. They knew the skills he had today were the fruit of tireless days and nights of training. At one point, when he was almost overpowered, Hoshina finally saw the monster's opening. He immediately used a special single sword skill to end this battle, but the monster remained calm and poised. Hoshina didn't believe it could copy his skill. He continued charging forward, but suddenly, number 10 issued a warning, "Defend Hoshina." Immediately, a counterattack from number 12 knocked Hoshina back. Amidst the rubble, Hoshina stood up again and swung his sword at the monster. He could not lose, could not die here. But Hoshina's sword was shattered, his arm could not avoid number 12's slash. It seemed he would become the red-haired Shanks, but Hoshina remained unharmed because the armor sacrificed its tail to block that counterattack for Hoshina. This time, the man and armor became one. Both were those who did not want to give up. They wanted to fight until their last breath. This game would not end so simply. For the first time, both Hoshina and the number 10 armor felt that excited. The energy release they were always stuck at 83% increased significantly. But they only had one opportunity left, as Hoshina's strength was about to run out. Without wasting time, Hoshina charged at number 12, slashing 12 times at one point on the monster's body, exposing its core. But this effort was still not enough, as the final slash was blocked by the monster. Strangely, Hoshina smiled because the one who delivered the final blow was not him, but the armor's tail. Impaled by the tail through its core, Kaiju number 12 died without a gasp. Deputy Commander Hoshina successfully eliminated the Kaiju number 12 to everyone's delight. Chofu Airport was secured. Moving to the city of Himeji, Hyogo Prefecture, protected by Hoshina's older brother. As a child, his brother used to constantly bully Hoshina. It was also thanks to this brother that Hoshina became as strong and resilient as he is now. After reminiscing about the past, they believed a giant kaiju had appeared in Nishi Yashirocho. In another development, Kaiju number 14 continued advancing into downtown Tachikawa, destroying everything in its path. Its movement was extremely erratic, making it difficult for snipers to take it out. Even when hit, it was unharmed due to its shielding ability. No matter what they did, they could not bring down this special kaiju. Immediately, Commander Mina appeared. She would be the one to shoot down Kaiju number 14. Mina was a natural artillery master. Since joining the defense force, this ability was discovered. Mina's other stats were below average, but she excelled tremendously with long-range firepower. Mina was given the important task of firing the finishing shot at the monster while her teammates distracted it. When her teammates lured it into the kill zone, Mina fired a shot that destroyed the monster's shield and core. She successfully eliminated Kaiju number 14, protecting all civilians in downtown Tachikawa. Not letting the warriors celebrate for long, Kaiju number 9 appeared on the big screen. With a camera in hand, its image was broadcast everywhere. It praised the defense force, but said they were still too weak. In this battle, it was the victor. As people were still wondering what happened, the remains of Kaiju number 14 began to glow. Kaiju number 9 appeared right in Tachikawa, standing before Mina to everyone's surprise. Its target in this battle was Mina. It wanted to absorb Mina like it did with Commander-in-Chief Isao. Kafka immediately transformed into a kaiju and moved like lightning towards Tachikawa. He would protect Mina and not let the Isao incident repeat itself. But Kaiju number 9 had prepared a feast for Kafka. Hundreds of kaiju appeared simultaneously across Tokyo. A third wave of attacks occurred, surprising all Defense Force members. All the giant kaiju had 9.0 levels of fortitude. They did not have enough resources to face this tremendous onslaught. Were the Defense Forces facing collapse? The chain explosions and destruction from the giant kaiju occurred simultaneously, causing ever-expanding damage. Kafka had to hold off the kaiju horde and could not move to Mina's location. Kaiju number 9 easily bypassed the gunfire and approached Mina. When the opponent was too close, Mina could not unleash her firepower. She was choked by it, and that image was broadcast to all media outlets. Now all the citizens of Tokyo were watching Commander Mina about to be absorbed by Kaiju number 9. It declared that soon it would create kaiju with Mina's firepower abilities. That would be the downfall of Japan and humanity. Kafka was in despair, as he alone could not escape this kaiju horde. An overwhelming power source was approaching. When the smoke cleared, standing there was Ichikawa Leno. After merging with Kaiju number 6, the strongest monster ever defeated by the Defense Force, Leno's power had been elevated to a new level. He instantly blocked an attack from a giant kaiju. Then, Iharu, Izumo, and Aoi, Kafka's former Unit 3 teammates, also appeared. They shouted, "Kafka, hurry to Ashiro, leave this to us." Unit 3 had been reborn, and now they were much stronger than before. Leno charged into the kaiju horde, no longer a helpless kid. Leno had lost both parents and his brother in a kaiju disaster, so now he would not let any more loved ones die. In just a few strides, Leno cleared the kaiju in front of him, clearing Kafka's path forward. Leno had shown everyone the power of Kaiju number 6, the king of the kaiju. Kafka moved forward, carrying everyone's hope. The battle was entering a tense, decisive stage for humanity's survival. In the city of Chofu, Iharu prepared for battle. After hearing encouraging words from Commander Ogata, he was full of fighting spirit. Just as he was about to move out, he was suddenly attacked by a kaiju and smashed into buildings. When Commander Ogata heard, he was startled, but still had faith in Iharu. Iharu burst out of the rubble as the monsters attacked him. Normally he would definitely be hit, but he had learned a new skill from Commander Ogata. Before the attack could reach him, Iharu leapt into the air at an extremely rapid speed. He fired a barrage of bullets at the monster. The lightning from the shots destroyed the monster's core from within. Iharu's energy release level had reached 88%, commander level. On Izumo's side, after seeing Iharu's progress, he used his special bow to fire many arrows at the monster, but it had no effect. However, he trusted his weapon, and the monster was later immobilized by poison. Aoi took the opportunity to jump up and finish off the monster. From afar, Narumi noticed something unusual. These monsters had no brains and were controlled by signals from number 9. He knew everything could not end unless they took down number 9. Commander Mina's life was in danger. Would Kafka and everyone be able to rescue Commander Mina and put a stop to Kaiju No. 9's scheme? Could the next generation of Team 3 reverse the situation against the brainless monsters controlled by No. 9? Perhaps even more dramatic developments await us in the next part. Do you have any predictions about Kafka's future and what number 9 will do going forward? Leave a comment below to let us know. And don't forget to like, share to support us. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next videos. Goodbye everyone.